Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Ako po si G. Tonji. We are live in Los Angeles today. And yes, it's the month of June. That's why we have our first live call-in show with our attorneys, Allison Aquino Silva and attorney Richard Lowe.
This American Dream segment is brought to you by Aquino & Lowe Law Firm, answering your immigration questions.
We have our attorneys here today. They are giving advice to all of you. All you have to do is call us, but before that, I want to talk about something really important. We want to talk about the Filipino World War II veterans parole. It's also called the FWVP. The policy was announced by the USCIS on May 9, just recently, and that filing period begins this Wednesday, June 8th. We have our attorneys here to talk about the details. Now, Attorney Lowe, may I ask, why is the USCIS implementing the FWVP policy just now, and how many people are expected to benefit from this?
Well, you know, the just now question is an interesting question. I think there's been a lot of political pressure to do something for the number of veterans who are here in this country and who have served the U.S. in World War II and have not really been given their due in many ways. And I think that's come around to this program. 260,000 Filipinos fought for the Americans during World War II, and there are really only about 2,000 to 6,000 remaining.
That's 1%.
That's 1%. It's a very low number. So what this parole program is doing is trying to reunite these veterans who are here with their family who are often in the Philippines and allowing them to come in and be together, you know, to help this veteran who's obviously very old now.
Yes, finally, right? But this is wonderful news for all of you that the USCIS is finally proceeding with steps to reunite veterans and their families. Attorney Ali, can you tell us what are the requirements to be eligible to apply under the FWVP policy?
There are 5 main requirements to be eligible to apply. The first requirement is that there must be an approved I-130 relative petition on behalf of the beneficiary. The second requirement is that the qualifying relationship, so the parent-child relationship in essence, had to have been established as of May 9, 2016, the day that the policy was announced. The third requirement is that the petitioner, the veteran, or the surviving spouse of the veteran has to be here in the United States, living here in the U.S., or if they have already passed away, the veteran must have passed away here in the United States.
Okay.
The fourth main requirement is that the priority date on the I-130 relative petition must not yet be current. So you essentially still have to be waiting to be eligible to receive your green card. And then the fifth and final requirement is that the petitioner truly is a veteran of World War II or the surviving spouse of a veteran. So they need to establish that again.
Okay, so let's who is eligible for this, Attorney Lowe, and what's the process to apply for it, and the estimated processing time?
Well, really what we're looking at, the main group of people that are going to benefit are the children of veterans, because they are the ones that are on the longest waiting list, particularly if they are married and they have their own children. This is a 20-year wait often for these visas to become current. So they will be the principal beneficiaries of these being able to come in and be with their father or their mother here in the United States. And this is interestingly initiated by the petitioner. So that would be the World War II veteran would apply for the parole for the beneficiary. And that would include an affidavit of support and some, then the beneficiary would have to interview at the consular office in the Philippines or wherever they're living, and they would go through an interview process, which would require a medical exam, a criminal background check, and an interview. And if there's humanitarian reasons to allow them to come in, then they will process them and give them the parole, and they can come into the United States and be here.
Okay, processing time around how long?
The guesstimate right now, since these applications are generally taking about 6 months, but it's hard to know because this is a new program. But
okay, all right. So what about for the people that are already out of status? There are people that have been waiting and waiting for so long that now they're out of status. What about them, Attorney Lowe?
Well, if you're in the United States and you're out of status, it's a little bit of a particularly difficult problem. Parole is generally granted to people who are outside the United States to come into the United States. So although you could go through the program, that is, the petitioner could apply for the beneficiary to get parole, the beneficiary would have to leave the United States in order to process that, and they would then be subject to inadmissibility bars and which would not allow them to return. So it's really not going to work for people who are in the United States and out of status.
Okay. All right. We have to talk about the petitioners that have already passed away, so many of them. We will do that when we return, but we are taking your calls. Give us a call here in Los Angeles, 1-800-553-5724. Magbabalik kami.